What's up, guys? Split Decision Pod, and we are back with another episode. Last time we talked, Volkanovski was getting ready to defend, man, and Volkanovski the Great did it again. Shout out to Alexander Volkanovski, man. Great performance. That was a great performance from Volkanovski, man. 37 years old, another title defense against a tenacious, tenacious guy, a formidable contender in Diego Lopez. I don't really know where he would go from here. But yeah, I mean, it was nothing short of a masterclass, man. I think Volk won every round. Um, it just went how I thought it would go. I mean, once again, I feel like if you give Volkanovski the answers to a test, he's not gonna fail it. Like he just looked like a guy who just simply knew what to do. His experience showed a lot. His IQ showed a lot. But make no mistake about it, man. Diego will be back. Like, Diego will be back. Soon as Volkanovski retires, he's probably going to be right back in a title fight for the vacant. Or if Volkanovski does retire with it, I think he will. But, like, when Volkanovski is gone, Diego is going to be back. In terms of where do you go here with Diego, I mean, I really don't know. I mean, he put his ranking on the line against Silva, gave him an opportunity to kind of be top five. We saw how that went. I mean, at this point, Mazar is booked, and that's the only guy above him, so he's gonna have to fight down. Personally, I think Aljamain Sterling is a good. I think will be a good opponent and a good test for both guys. Aljo's coming off of a solid performance. I mean, he arguably got robbed against Mavzar, you could say that, but I think Aljo being top five right now, I think that would be a good, and he did fight Ortega after that and then beat Ortega. Him coming off a good Ortega win, like, I think Aljo deserves a chance to fight up too and eventually kind of work his way into title contention. So I think that could be a good matchup for him. Even a guy like, he fought Gene Silva already. I don't know. I think Aljo is kind of like, Yair, that fight. Actually, no, yeah, that is the fight that needs to happen. Yair and Diego Lopez needs to happen ASAP. Dana, or I guess Dana doesn't do the matchmaking anymore, as he just said. Hunter, get it done. These guys have bad blood, and this will be a amazing fight. What other better reasons than that? Like, get it done. That would be an amazing fight. Yair and Diego, that would be fun, man. I mean, like I said, but yeah, Yair and Diego, or Yair, or not Yair, Diego and Aljo. I think those would be two really good options. In terms for Volk, I mean, with Mavzar being number one, Lerone Murphy being number three, both of those guys being undefeated, 1-0 is definitely getting taken as that fight got announced a few days ago. I mean, with the state of the featherweight division, you have to think that whoever wins that fight is definitely getting the next title fight. I mean, right? I would hope so, at least. Considering that, I think Mazar should have been got a title fight. I've been on record saying for a while now. I think Lerone Murphy has done more than enough to put himself in a position to get a title fight. So I guess we're about to figure out who really deserves it. And if Lerone Murphy or Mazar wins this fight and they don't get a title shot, it's gonna be a problem. Like, I don't know, we're gonna have to storm the headquarters or do something, because these title fights or title shots and how they're getting handed around is kind of getting out of hand, man. It's kind of a mess. But we need to, like I said before, we need to restore some order back into the matchmaking and everything. But I mean, just staying on Volkanovski. Volkanovski's win at 325 posed a really good question that I already had the answer to walking into it. Is Volkanovski the featherweight GOAT? Me personally, he was the featherweight GOAT. I feel like he was the GOAT even after he lost to Ilya. And I think when he reclaimed the belt, because I mean, we all know how hard it is to win a belt back in the UFC, despite what he went through, getting knocked out multiple times, being 36, like winning a belt twice is already hard enough to do. But with his circumstances, I mean, it was a lot. A lot of people said it was impossible. And when I think about that, when he beat Diego the first time, I think it was pretty locked in my opinion. Beating him the second time just kind of, anything Volk does from here, in my opinion, it kind of it's the icing on the cake. Like, he's just playing. He's kind of like LeBron. He's just here just for He's here for us at this point. He doesn't have to. He's here for our entertainment. He's here to make sure we have fun at this point. What else does Volkanovski really have to do to pass Jose Aldo? What, beat his title fight record? Let's really talk about it. Okay, they both have 8 title wins. Okay, let's stack them up. Aldo's best wins: Chad Mendes. I think he beat him twice. Volkanovski beat Mendes. I will give him Korean Zombie, another guy Volkanovski has beaten. I said Mendes, Korean Zombie, Uriah Faber. Obviously, Volkanovski didn't fight him. Frankie Edgar. So 2 of his best wins, or that I would say are his best wins, Volkanovski has already beaten. And Chad Mendes and how am I blanking already? Chad Mendes and how did I just lose my mind that fast? But he's already beaten 2 of your best wins. When I think about Max Holloway losing to Volkanovski 3 times in 3 separate title fights, and then I think about how dominant Volkanovski was against him in that 3rd fight, let's just make something clear. Until Ilya came, we've never seen anyone not named Alexander Volkanovski dominate Max Holloway on the feet like we did in that fight. And to think that they beat him 2 times before that, to me, that surpasses just about anything. And when you think about the fact that Max beat Aldo 2 times, like, I don't want to be an MMA master here. I really do not. But like, I think this is more than relevant to like bring up when we're talking about both of their legacies. Like I said, you got a guy in Max Holloway that beat Jose twice. Volkanovski beat Max Holloway 3 times, and he beat Jose Aldo. I understand Aldo wasn't really necessarily in his prime, but he still had a lot to give. Let's not make no mistake about it. He still was pretty good. And some people would even say he was in his prime. I mean, if you say he wasn't, okay, I'll understand it. But some people would say he was. And the fact that he has a win over one of your best wins in Chad Mendes. And Korean Zombie. 2 of your best wins in Korean Zombie and Chad Mendes. He's beaten those guys. He's beaten you. And he beat the guy 3 times that you couldn't beat. So it's like, and then when I go down the list of Volkanovski, Ortega, Yair, like, bro, these are like really formidable opponents. Like, I remember Ortega was on a tear before he lost to Volkanovski, man. He was on a tear. He lost to Max, but outside of Max, he was beating everybody. Everybody else, he was on a tear. And we saw what Volkanovski did to him. Yair was an interim champ. We saw what Volkanovski did to him. Like, and then another thing that I feel like gets kind of lost in the mix. Okay, let's stack it up again. 8 title wins. They both have 8 title wins, right? Oh, and then I didn't even mention Diego Lopez, another formidable contender, but whatever. They both have 8 title wins. Volkanovski went up to fight Islam twice. Now, the only reason I say that to say, if he wasn't spending time going up, like trying to move up the division, because Aldo never tried, when he was at 45, he never tried to fight Khabib, or I'm trying to think who else might have been the champ at that time. Maybe Eddie Alvarez, could have been Edgar, maybe. No, probably Eddie Alvarez, Khabib. Maybe not Khabib, maybe Alvarez. Yeah, maybe Alvarez, but whatever, Pettis, whoever. Yeah, it might have been Pettis, Alvarez, whoever. The point is, he never tried to move up. And I say that to say, Volkanovski moving up took away title fights that he could have been winning. He could have just sat in that division After he beat Max Holloway for that 3rd time, he could have just lapped it again and said, okay, I'm going to give Ortega a rematch and then beat him again. Now I'm going to he could have lapped it again, but instead he had 2 fights where he decided to move up. And I think that's something that gets lost, because those 2 fights he decided to move up, he could have spent at 45 and racked up another win or 2. So when I think of the strength of competition, the fact that Volkanovski moved up twice, the fact that Volkanovski has a dub over Jose Aldo, as great as Jose Aldo is, man, I don't think he's touching Volkanovski. I don't. And eventually, I'm sure we'll do like a featherweight ranking, or we'll go down the divisions and probably do top 5. That's a good idea. Go down the divisions and rank top 5s. I like that. Somebody save that and put that in the comments. But yeah, Like Volkanovski, I just think he just clears him at this point. I just think he clears him. Another thing I want to talk about when it comes to Volkanovski and Jose, the longevity, man. Like when Jose Aldo was 36, 37, I mean, he was still competing. Don't get me wrong. He wasn't just a bum, like just a bum or anything, just walking like on his last. He wasn't just a bum. He's competing against top 10 competition when it comes to Batista, how he looked against him, when he did to Jonathan Martinez and things like that. But we all know the difference between top 10 competition and top 3, top 2, top 1 championship level competition. Volkanovski is 37 years old and he's defending his belt. I mean, Jose Aldo was fighting guys in the top 10 or outside of the top 10 at 37 and losing and winning and losing and winning. Like it's just, it's a difference. Like it's just a difference. Even when you just think about his Volkanovski career losses, the only time we've seen Volkanovski lose has been to a guy who's a welterweight now. And oh yeah, he's the champion of welterweight, by the way, and a guy who's in lightweight now. Oh, he's the champion of lightweight. So he's lost to 2 double champs, and one of those double champs is 2 divisions above him. So, like, his only featherweight loss came to Ilya, who's a guy that's the lightweight champion now. So, what are we talking about? It's like, what are we talking about? I've watched Jose Aldo lose to multiple featherweights. Like, I've seen that. I haven't seen that from Volkanovski. And I just think, when I just think about everything that I just said, I just have to go Volkanovski. Volkanovski clears Aldo for me, man. He does. But like I said, when you think about the division, I would be very, very, very like upset or surprised and shocked if Movsar or Lerone Murphy isn't the next guy to fight Volk. Like it has to be at this point, right? He has to be. I mean, moving on from 145, going on to lightweight division, we got, the glass card also kind of catapulted another lightweight in BSD. It's good to see BSD kind of do this. I think after his Dustin Poirier loss, it was kind of like, a lot of people kind of just gave him the fraud check label, and then kind of just lost faith in him and everything. And like, and then the Moicano fight didn't help it. But, I mean, he was 0-2, had a 2-fight losing skid. He's now on a 4-fight win streak. So, I mean, that poses the question, is BSD legit? Can he be a legit title contender? Is he a legit formidable top 5 opponent? Like, is he legit? Because now he's top 5. So now, what I always say, what happens when you get that 5 next to your number. When you get that 5 next to that 5 next to your name, I'm sorry. You get that 5 next to your name, now shit is real. Now you're like 1 or at 2, at most, you're 2 fights away, probably 2 wins away from a title shot. So like, this is the conversations we're going to start to have about BSD now. Like he's really making a name for himself, and it's good to see. Like he's 4-0. He's on a 4-0 in this year, not this year, since 2025, he's 4-0. Now, some would say the legitimacy of that streak is kind of not there. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I understand he beat a guy in Kyle Propolek, if I'm saying his name right. He was on his 2nd fight in the UFC, I believe. But then he beat Rufy, a guy that just got another top 10 win this past weekend. He just demolished Dan Hooker. Okay, like he just demolished him. Like he just walked through him. And I understand some people like look at Dan Hooker as like a joke and whatever. And I actually can understand it. But Dan Hooker is still not an easy fight. He's not easy. And to see BSD do what he did to him, it was impressive. It was impressive. Actually, I thought that fight would be way harder for BSD. I thought it was impressive. You got that. I mean, Dariush, I understand. Now, he beat Dariush as well. So let's really talk about it. You got Kyle Propolek, a guy that's in his second fight. Okay. He did what he's supposed to do. He dominated him. You got people saying, oh, well, Dariush was old. He obviously didn't have, he's old. He just doesn't have anymore. I would say that was a really pathetic performance. That was pathetic. I thought Dariush would give him a fight, and to see him just get dropped and knocked out after one exchange, that was pathetic. With that being said, if Dariush is really washed and is really old and all this, all that, he did what he was supposed to do to the washed old guy. Like, he did what he was supposed to do. Roofy, a lot of guys thought that Roofy would beat BSD. Like, a lot of people thought that. And I understand that that's probably a solid matchup for a guy like BSD because Roofy doesn't really want to grapple, and his grappling is kind of a weak spot that you can take advantage of. But it still doesn't change the fact that that's a great win. That's a great win. And I think that win will continue to age very, very gracefully as Roofy continues to kind of work his way up through the rankings. And like I said, a guy in Dan Hooker who we've seen push DP, we've seen get a win over Gamrot. Like, he's not by any means an easy fight. Like, and to see what he did against him, that was impressive. With that being said, the one thing that does kind of want to make me like pump the brakes on the BSD train is the fact that I'm not really seeing evolution. Like, he's still doing the same. Like, when I watched him fight DP, and I knew he would lose to DP because of this, he kind of, if the fight isn't really going his way, or like, I'm not even gonna say if the fight isn't going his way, he just wants to, BSD's playing, he wants to just kind of overwhelm you and put on a high grappling pace. That's his style. Like, that's his style. He wants to kind of get you in the wild exchanges with his punches and kicks, mixes in his kicks in there, and he wants to kind of put on a very fast, high action grappling pace on you and kind of destroy you on the ground. That's what it seems like he wants to do. The problem is with that, his striking isn't really good enough to where he can really stand up with really good top tier strikers and look comfortable. Even in that first round of the Dan Hooker fight, I'm thinking like, oh, okay, this fight is what I was thinking it was going to be, a tough fight. Like, it's going to be a tough fight. And, I mean, after BSD just kind of put his head down and said, listen, I gotta take one to give one and then get him down. I mean, obviously things change, but see, that's the problem though. It seemed like that take one to give one style isn't gonna, I don't know how that works against a guy like the guys above him who he's going to eventually see. I don't know how that works against Charles Oliveira. I don't know how that works against Arman Sarukian, a guy who can hold his own in the striking and match your grappling pace. I don't know how that holds up against a guy like Max Holloway. I don't think it holds up at all. Like, it's damn sure not going to hold up against Ilya. So it's like, it's just no evolution, especially when I see if he really wants to be like a top, respected as a top contender, he's gonna have to refine his striking because he's gonna need that to set up those takedowns. You're not gonna be able to just run up on guys and just charge guys and and just run up wild with like a chicken with your head cut off and just get takedowns. Like, that's not gonna happen. And like DP was a great example of that. When you face those guys, even Gaethje, like those guys who can strike and are so comfortable and have so much experience, like, they're gonna catch you and make you make a mistake. And like, that's just my problem with BSD. He has to evolve. It's like he's doing the same things that kind of strayed people away from him in the first place. It's just now he's not facing guys like Moicano or guys like DP. He's facing guys who are worse than those guys. Let's keep it real. Still formidable, but worse than those guys. And now it's working. So like, he's going to try to do that when he continues to fight up, and I don't think it'll work. That's at least how I look at it. But with all that being said, him kind of, I won't say turn his career around like it was just dead, but him kind of jolting his career and kind of making a name for himself is nice to see, and it is impressive. But in terms of title contention, he's going to need to kind of show me a little bit more evolution, I feel like, because he's just the same mistakes. Good matchups for BSD. I mean, BSD currently sits top 5, I believe, in the division, if I'm not mistaken. No, he's 5 over Patty. Yeah, he moved over Patty. I think a guy like even though fighting, when you got Max Holloway booked right now, you got Oliveira booked with Holloway. Gaethje's obviously waiting on Ilya. Then you got who's else above Arman. Arman could be a good matchup. I think Arman will be a solid matchup. Give Arman that one more fight before you give him a title fight, because eventually you're going to have to give Arman a title fight, right? Like, I also think another really, really good matchup for BSD, I understand he wants to fight up, but at the end of the day, like, as long as you're active and putting on good performances, you're gonna get your opportunities. So like that's the main point. That's the main thing. Like, so I think a guy like Gamrot would be really good for him. I think that'd be a good matchup. I think Gamrot would be really I think that'd be fun. A fun grappling matchup, and I just think that's a good matchup for him. Another honorable mention, Patty. I think that would be good for both of those guys. I think that would be a good matchup, but a lot of people might say Patty should fight down, and I probably agree with that, but I don't think that would be the worst idea in the world if they were to give him Patty. Speaking of matchups, before we get out of here, man, this welterweight division is just like what it just seems like ever since Usman left or lost the belt, it just kind of just it just feels like we're just kind of asking ourselves what is going on. Like you got Shavkat re-injuring himself, and apparently he won't be in the mix until late this year, possibly 2027, which would be 3 years or 2 years removed. It would be sidelining him for 2 years. I mean, like, you think about that. You think about the fact that we don't really have another title contender who we really don't know for sure. It's like sometimes it's like, oh yeah, it's Morales. Then it's Usman, and then it's like, well, Ian Gary's still in the mix. It's like we don't really know what's going on there. It's just a mess. Like, for one, can I just say? I just want to say, I'm gonna look into this camera and I'm gonna say, Shavkat Rakhmonov will forever be the boogeyman of this division. I'm not gonna forget all y'all talking about Shav and all like at this point, Shav. I just want Shav to get healthy. Just get healthy. His opportunity will come. I don't think he will beat Islam, but at this point, he's probably gonna come back and Islam isn't even gonna be there. So Shav is still gonna be a world champion. I'm gonna still say it. He's not gonna be a what if. He's not gonna be. I'm not gonna forget that 17 fight finish win streak. I'm not forgetting it. I'm not gonna forget it, man. I'm not gonna forget it. And I'm also not gonna forget how everybody. One knock on Shab is like, okay, what is really your signature win? Yeah, Ian Gary, but it's like Ian Gary has gotten better from that, and it's like Ian Gary can even say Ian Gary wasn't a champion when he beat him. At least Ian Gary can say, okay, well, I've beaten a champion now, and I beat another guy in the top 5 in Carlos Prates. One thing about Shab is he never fought a top 5 ranked guy. But I think when people bring that up, they forget to realize that nobody wanted to fight him. None of the top 5 guys wanted to fight him when he was coming up. Kobe Covington was top 5 at that point, didn't want to fight him. Wonder Boy was damn near top 5. He declined him at first, didn't realize, well, okay, if I want to do something with this last little run of my career, I'm probably gonna have to fight him. Like none of these guys wanted to fight him. Like, I think that gets lost. He will always be the boogeyman. Don't y'all forget that. Shavkat Rakhmonov, get healthy. But welterweight, it's like, okay, let's just start with Usman. I just want to say, Kamaru Usman is as close to a title shot as I am. Or he should be. He lost 3 fights in a row. 3. And then he comes back, and I think Buckley he will eventually work his way through the ranks and stuff, and I think that win will also age gracefully as Buckley's careers continue to pan out. But he came up and beat a guy who wasn't like established or anything. He was trying to get established. He was on the verge of getting established. Beating Usman would have gotten him established. So you beat an unestablished young guy. And I understand you weren't the underdog, and people thought, including myself, thought you were gonna lose and all that. But at the end of the day, let's not act like this. He wasn't an unestablished younger guy who hadn't really done anything like really, really significant in the UFC. You beat him after losing 3 times, and you think you're going to skip the line of Ian Gary, a number 2 ranked Morales, like you even Sean Brady, who was number 2 at the time. Like, you think you're just going to skip the rank? How does that work? And the fact that it's even a possibility that it might happen, it just pisses me off. I'm not gonna lie. It pisses me off. I think Usman needs to get a top 5 win. And if Usman gets a top 5 win, then he can talk about getting a title shot. But we're like I said, this title shot parody needs to stop, man. Usman, get another win, like a top 5 win, And then we could talk about getting a title shot. I don't see why we're even doing this. I think, and it pisses me off because there's so many good fights that he can fight in the top 5. Fight Ian Garry. Fight Michael Morales. Fight Bilal. Fight Bilal. You talk so much shit about Bilal and talk about how he was a bum and all this and that. Fight him. He obviously wants to fight. Fight him. He's top 4. If he's such a bum, whoop his ass and then get your title shot. But for him to act like he is just the guy to beat in the division when you lost 3 times in a row, it's like, let's pump the brakes. Let's pump the brakes. Let's slow down. I understand who this is. I understand this is Kamaru Usman. I understand he is arguably the GOAT of this weight class, but let's pump the brakes because at the end of the day, what matters most is what have you done for me lately? You want to know what Ian Garry has done for me lately? He just dominated. He went toe to toe with Shavkat, another guy you didn't want to fight. Well, he was playing like he did. I'm not gonna say he didn't want to fight him, but I'm not gonna say he didn't want to fight him. But we don't know that. But Shavkat wanted to fight you. I'll say that. And you didn't. Whatever happened, you didn't fight him. Ian Garry, he went toe to toe with him. Beat Carlos Prates, a guy who's top 5 now. He's number 2 ranked, and he beat Bilal, dominated Bilal, a champion, guy who was champion last year. Should I add? You got Michael Morales, a guy that has a win over Sean Brady, who was number 2 at the time. He dominated him. Even Carlos Prates knocked out Leon Edwards, a guy who's a former champion. It was number 4 at the time. These are guys that, you would not get a title fight above. Why not fight JDM? Fight somebody. He's gonna have to fight one of these guys in his top 5 if he wants to get a title fight. Hell, I wouldn't even be mad if he fought Sean Brady. Sean Brady's number 6. Beat Sean Brady and then get a title shot. I wouldn't even be mad at that. I would not be mad at that. But for him to just act like he's automatically the guy to beat again is just absurd and crazy. It's insane. Personally, how I would probably match up welterweight, I think Ian Garry is personally the most deserving guy right now. When you think about his activity, his strength of schedule, the guy, he's constantly beating top 10 guys he's beat. And let's be real. He's kind of, I don't want to say dominate them. He doesn't dominate guys in it because it's hard to say he dominates guys because he's not putting cuts on nobody's faces. He's not knocking guys out. He's not making guys bleed, but he dominates up here. He dominates with game plans, IQ, and strategy. He dominated Carlos Prates. He shut him down. A guy that's top 5. He dominated Bilal Muhammad. He dominated Jeff Neal. He couldn't do anything. Like I said, he stood toe to toe with Shavkat on short notice. Props to him. I think Ian Garry is the answer right now. He is the bona fide number 1 contender in welterweight. Morales, I haven't seen enough from him. Yeah, he knocked out the guy who probably was the number 1 contender at the time, Sean Brady. But what has he done before then? I just need to see a little more if I'm gonna give him a fight over Ian Garry. Carlos Prates, yeah, you beat Leon, but it's he still needs to do a little more. JDM is probably, if he gets a big win, big dominant win, he probably would be right back in the mix. But the only thing with that is it's going to be hard as hell to sell that fight, considering how badly he got dominated against Islam. That's going to be a hard rematch to sell. So it's just, but if me personally, if I was Hunter Kemp, this is what I would do. I'm giving the next title shot to Ian Garry. We're going to do that. I'm making Kamaru Usman's ass fight Bilal. I'm going to make Kamaru Usman fight Bilal. I'm going to make Michael Morales fight either JDM or Prates. Probably, I'll probably do Morales and JDM. And then I would let Prates fight Sean Brady. Because another thing I want to see about Prates is how are you going to fare when a guy is really trying to take you down for the whole fight. I want to see how is you really going to fare with that. Because that is something that we do need to see. So that's how I would go about ranking the welterweight division, or bless you, excuse me. And I would probably let Joaquin Buckley get some action in there somewhere. Probably let him fight Leon, or Prates could be a good fight, because I I do think guys are starting to duck Buckley as well. I do think they're using that Kamaru Usman loss as a to say like, oh, well, he lost to Usman. What are we fighting him for? Because I feel like guys know Buckley is dangerous. Buckley is good. He is good. So I want to see him get matched up with someone too. Like I said, I will probably do JDM Morales, probably do Bilal and Usman, and probably let Carlos probably fight Brady or Buckley, or probably let Brady fight Buckley, or maybe let Carlos fight. Like I would do it something like that. But the two for sure fights would be Ian Garry and Islam, and then probably Morales and no Usman and Bilal. Those would be the two, another for sure fight. Because that fight, like, if you want Usman to get a title fight so damn bad, get him in the top 5. Let him fight Bilal. So that's how I would do it, man. But that's all I have for y'all today, man. Follow me on Instagram, Split Decision pod __. On TikTok, Split Decision pod __. Y'all know the channel. Sub, like, subscribe, share with your friends, man. Until next time, we out. Split Decision out. Peace out. Shout out EGF, man. He always here with us in spirit. Peace out.